Hey YouTube, it's me Zach again, or BLA914CK, whatever you want to call me. But today I'm here to show you a deck that's actually quickly working its way up my list of favorites, and it's Bani-Psychics or Remove and Play Psychics, whatever you want to call it. It's a great deck. It came out in Extreme Victory. It's fairly old. It's a very synchro heavy deck, but it's just great. And this is a fairly cheap deck to obtain depending on how you want to build it and depending on how hard it is to find in your area. But I'm going to show you all my build, and this is something you can probably build something off of, or just give you an idea. Well, to start, you got triple Serene Psychic Witch, 1200, 1400, 1200, a 3-star Earth type Psychic monster. When it's destroyed by anything, you get to search your deck for it, a Psychic with 2000 or less attack, and banish it. And during the next standby phase, you get it. She's your main searcher for the deck, and she makes the majority of your effects go off. Her effect is mandatory, so yeah, it's it's good against, I guess, Doom Caliber Knight, for example, because when her effect goes off, and he destroys her, she also destroys him. You can It allows you to set up for plays during your next turn, depending on how you want to do it, and she essentially searches out the entire deck. So yeah, she's good. Next, you got 3 Esper Girls, Level 2 Psychic Earth Tuner, 500, 400, 500, 300, I'm sorry. Basically, when she special summons from being removed from play, you banish the top card of your deck, and when she leaves the field, you get that card back. If you can find some way to abuse her now, you can dig through your entire deck. Her in conjunction with Hush Psychic Cleric means I spam the field with synchros, and I get like half my deck in my hand. She's necessary to run this deck, and I suggest you run them at 3. But some people may say something else. But I run her at 3, and that's just my suggestion. Next, you got triple Cleric. Cleric is a level 3 Psychic Earth type effect monster with 0 attack, 2100 defense, and when he's normal summon, he immediately goes to defense. So, and he allows you to. He's the main reason you can abuse cards in this deck, because his effect is you can discard a card to banish a Psychic from the graveyard. Say if you drop a card to banish Esper Girl, and then you emergency teleport a Psychic and sync with that Psychic, you get Esper Girl back plus a card, and you can use that Esper Girl to sync to get that card that you just got. So you end up with field presence and hand presence. So he's just very good. He's e-telliable, and he's the main reason this deck is broken. All right, moving on. We got my personal preference is double Wizard. Basically, when Wizard is normal summon, you can remove a Psychic from play in the graveyard, and when he leaves the field, you get that one back. What's good about him is he can remove synchros as well and special summon them. So after they have been properly synchro summoned, and you normal summon him, you can remove him from play, sync with him, get that synchro back plus another synchro on the field. These aren't Retail wise, these aren't hard to find. They're not very expensive. There maybe be $1, $1.50 at the most. It's a super, but it's a super nobody really cares about, and it's pretty easy to get your hands on. Next, I run one Time Escaper. Time Escaper is a level 2 Psychic, but essentially, you can drop him from your hand to remove and play a Psychic and return it during the next standby phase, not special summon. He will not make the other one's effects go off, but he allows Ultimate Axe and Kicker to come back from the field. He can and help Psychics dodge things like Dark Hole, Bottomless, Torrential, and he's just a very nice tech. Most people suggest you run him at 2. I run him at 1 because I feel like 2 is just overkill. And moving on, we got 1 Reinforced Psychic Borg. Basically, what he allows you to do is twice per turn, you can remove and play a Psychic in the graveyard. He gains 500 attack for each Psychic removed. So that first turn, he could come out with 2500 attack because he starts at 15. Level 4 Earth Psychic, and he's good if you're doing the field zone play. And this is actually a lot harder to find retail wise because of the sheer fact that nobody knows what this is. I actually had to buy this offline, but it only cost me like 80 cents to $1, so it's not that bad. Alright, moving on, we got one Snail. Snail is 1900, 4-star Earth-type Psychic monster. Basically, pay 800 life points to power up another Psychic, and it can attack twice. And this is not a once per turn effect, so you can just keep doing this. If you're using all Psychic Synchros, you could just pay 800 for each one to attack twice and have game that turn if need be. Running one is nice. I feel like doubling up on this is too much, so I just run one. And alright, next we got one Mental Seeker. Mental Seeker is another one of the Psychics that gets an effect after it's been special summoned after being removed from play. And when he's special summoned, you reveal the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and banish one. I feel like I used to run this in 2 to 3, but it got a little too much because if you just E-Tele him, he's got no effect. And it's my preference just to run one now. But to change it for the other two, I put in double Psychic Commander. Psychic Commander I think is a better preference over Mental Seeker because he gets past Thunder King and anything with 1900 because you can pay life points to lower that monster by 500. And he's just a very good level 3 Earth Psychic tuner. And he can E-Teleable, so yeah, he's good. Next, for the last 2 monsters, we got double Raikou. Now, Raikou, this deck mostly now revolves around the graveyard. So Raikou helps you put those cards in the graveyard and allows you to destroy a card. So it's a pretty good exchange for what you got. Alright, that's it for monsters. For spells, we got double E-Tele. Now that this is back up to 2, this is just wonderful. Allows you to special summon a level 3 or lower Psychic from the deck, banish it at the end of the turn. But nearly everything in this deck, with the exception of maybe 6 cards, is level 3 and lower, allowing you to spam the entire deck, such as Cleric, Esper Girl, Mental Seeker, Witch, whatever. And you need to run this at least 1 if you're going to do this deck. I suggest maxing it out at 2 because you get your maximum spam that way. Alright, next we got double Duality, up the consistency. Double Miracle Synchro Fusion, you can set it, and if your opponent blows it, you draw a card. It also sets up that Psychic Ultimate Axe Kicker play. Charge, search out them Raikous. Avarice, this deck clogs up the graveyard incredibly quickly. You need to recharge it. Double Psychic Field Zone. This card actually allows you access to Gusto Synchros too, because it just needs to level and then you special summon it. You cannot special summon the monster back if it goes to the graveyard because it was not properly synchro summoned. But it allows you to special summon Psychic Synchros from your extra deck by using remove from play Psychics. And it's pretty good. Foolish, just set up. Staples. You know why. And Mind Control, because this is a synchro deck. For traps, I don't run many. I run Solemn, Torrential, and 2 Bottomless. That's it for really traps in this deck, because I don't like clogging decks with traps. As for extra deck, to start off with, you're going to need to run, well, I run Ultimate Axe Kicker. It's like Thought Ruler Archfiend on steroids, can't be destroyed by card effects, pierces, and you gain life points equal to that monster's attack. So he's got 2900 attack, and he's just pretty amazing and hard to get over. Stardust. It's Stardust. Brio. Now that he's been reprinted, he's easy to get for most people to get their hands on. Okay, now I run Beast and Barkin because they're easy to pull out, as everything in this deck is Earth with the exception of Raikou, and their effects actually help out this deck a lot. Barkin removes, Beast mills, allows you to set up the graveyard and set up your remove and play for your field zone play. Armory Arm. You will be surprised how many times you can actually pull this off. There were times I needed this because I didn't have, I had too many monsters in the field. I had that Raikou and Esper Girl, and I didn't have an Armory Arm to sync, so it helps clear up the field a bit, and you can equip it to a monster. Catastor. Now for this deck, you're gonna need a level 9, a level 8, level 7, a level 6, level 5, and a level 6 target in order to run Field Zone properly. Now all these are actually give you great setup. They're pretty powerful, and they all work with Field Zone. So yeah, but essentially that's the deck. And now the deck's profile's done, I'm just gonna show this card. That's the deck essentially. This deck is very cheap. It's very fun. It actually takes a lot of skill to use, and it takes a lot of thought and a lot of planning. It's a very fun deck, very affordable deck depending on how you want to build it. But I suggest if you want to have fun with a deck and you're looking for something to build, I suggest you use this as an example. Or if create a psychic deck of your own. I've seen people tech Lagia by teching in Guaibas and Velos, which is actually very smart. I've seen them teching Creature Swap, Econ, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it's a great deck. If you have any comments on it, like, comment, subscribe, or let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, y'all. Thanks for watching.